Well, where do we go from here? What happens with metaphysics, and for that matter, epistemology, ethics after Heraclitus and Parmenides? We're now in the world where nothing that we normally believe nothing that we normally believe exists, that we normally think exists, does. Well, along come a group of people called the Sophists. And the word sophist is kind of an interesting one for us because, remember, philosophy comes from two Greek words, philos and sophia, the love of, sophia, wisdom. So the Sophists, the wise ones, not necessarily philosophers, but they were traveling teachers. And they weren't teachers in the way they are today. That is, they didn't have a union guaranteeing them benefits, but rather these were people who were, to some extent, opportunists. They were the marketers, the salesmen of their day, and maybe they were selling snake oil in their day, something that really didn't do anything. But they ran around and they were going to restore knowledge, restore some sense of knowledge, not really knowledge, through a view that's come to be known as relativism. That is, they're going to sort of give us back our knowledge of the sensible world because, and very famous sophist, in fact, one that in Plato's dialogues occurs a lot, Protagoras, and what's a quote that's attributed to him, really embodying the idea of relativism, is, "Man is the measure of all things." That is, whatever a person perceives, a man perceives, believes, and that's man not in terms of a member of a particular gender, but rather a human. Whatever a human perceives or believes is true. That is, truth is relative to the person. And in fact, this is one of the reasons that Socrates ends up having a significant dispute with the Sophists. But notice, in a certain sense, at least we can come to say that we can regain knowledge, because if knowledge is justified true belief, we now have true beliefs again. Truth might not be what it used to be, what it hoped it would be, but nonetheless, we've in some way restored truth, even though Socrates was not happy because he thought the Sophists were a bunch of frauds. They were just charging a lot of money to the rich and famous to train their kids. In the old days, what were the rich and famous doing? They were the people with political power. Sometimes they had economic power. And their children, the jet setters, the guys today who are running around in Ferraris, go spending their nights in clubs, getting on jets all over the world. Back in those days, the wealthy and the powerful used to hire these teachers to come and give their children some wisdom. And what was the wisdom? The wisdom was really the art of rhetoric, persuasion. That is, they learned how to persuade people to the truth of their own position, which kind of led to relativism in political philosophy and ethics as well. So there is a connection between metaphysics and stuff that affects us in everyday life that we discuss. That is, what makes things right or wrong are laws or conventions that are adopted by society. That is, it's relative. The truth in political philosophy and ethics is relative to a society. There's no absolute right or wrong. And that's why our laws are okay, and whatever is followed by the laws are okay, which presents a real difficulty for Socrates, because he doesn't think that our goal is to just persuade somebody of something, use rhetoric. He's looking for the truth, not with the little t, this relative truth, but truth with the capital T, the absolute truth, and he certainly does not find the sophist position at all convincing and answering the problem. But we will take a quick look at the sophist position, and we will go on to look at what in the future at what Socrates and Plato have to say.